Hey everyone! Thanks for wanting to check out my adventures as I survive in the One Piece world for 100 Minecraft days. This is the second part of the story, so if you want to see it from the beginning, I suggest clicking on the link in the description down below. Spoilers for this video, we're going to be fighting Ace and Marco, so stay tuned for that. This video series took such a long time to make though, especially with all the roleplay-like elements, so if you like what you see, please think about subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It would be greatly appreciated. Alright, it's time to just jump into the video now. On day 34, we got to a place called Mocktown and immediately headed over to the bar. While enjoying my drink, two guys started fighting over whether the pies or the drinks that they were consuming tasted better. Later on, the guy who liked the pie started talking about how people's dreams never die. That crazy old man seemed like a cool dude to me. The following morning, we fought hostile people in a nearby forest. We heard from them about how this area holds a method on how to get to a sky island, so we kept going deeper into the forest. When we reached the end of the forest, we came across the house of Mont Black Cricket, who wasn't there. There was a sign there saying to use the cannon he left to get to the next island, so we trusted him in hopes of getting to the Sky Island. After being shot by the cannon, we landed on a mysterious island and came face to face with a familiar face. We were fighting against Kanye, the man whose crew destroyed the Baratier. And us. Our crews fought again, this time until the night, but we were clearly at a stalemate this time. We decided to hold the ceasefire on day 38, and Kanye explained that he doesn't really want to fight. He was on the island looking for a certain treasure. This immediately caught our attention and we decided to look for it as well. This treasure was very elusive though, so we ended up digging so many holes that day. On the following day, I stumbled upon a mink named Cheeks. Cheeks explained how this island is her home and the treasure is hers, but she'd be willing to give it to us if we defeat the terrifying creature that has been coming to this island every day. That night, Kanye and Waddle accompanied me to fight this monster, which was some sort of giant ogre. I completely understood why Cheeks was hiding from this thing because he was clearly no joke. Still, we outnumbered him, which left us with the advantage. The next day, we told Cheeks about the ogre's defeat, and with relief in her voice, she mentioned how the ogre must have not been as strong as she thought. She then turned into Mega Cheeks and explained that this treasure was actually the ogre's and that she was here to get it as well, following a map that she has. We fought her for a while, which proved to be a little more difficult of a fight than with the ogre, and after her defeat, we followed the map and reached the treasure. Unfortunately, Kanye knocked me out right when we found it though. We woke up 2 days later after Kanye's crew knocked us out, and Arlong Jr. asked me why I didn't know Fishman Karate, and then offered to teach me. He said that it would help me boost up my power even higher so that stuff like that wouldn't happen anymore. We then spent the rest of the day making a vessel to get off of the island. The following day, Arlong Jr. and I stepped foot on a small deserted island and went to work on training. He showed me the proper moves necessary to harness the power of controlling water, and before long, I was shooting water right back at him. The training was a success. On day 44, an island with a huge arena caught our attention. When we talked to the man in the front, he mentioned how the building appeared out of nowhere right before his eyes and he's using it to host a tournament. Naruto ran up and said that he recognized this place from somewhere, but he couldn't put his finger on it. It was as if he had already fought in this arena when he was younger. He eagerly requested that we join the tournament, and I told Naruto to calm down, but he said his name was now Sanruto. Still confused in all this, I just ended up agreeing. That night, we watched one of the fights, and after seeing Camo Steve win, it pumped us up. The morning of day 45, Waddle was up first and had to fight against a reindeer man named Tony Chopper. Waddle went in there confidently and proved why he was the second in command of the crew. Nothing Chopper could do was enough to really waver Waddle, and by the end, Waddle was the victor of the round. Later on, it was my turn, and I went head to head with a person named Killer. His melee skills were pretty good, so I figured I'd need to keep him at a distance. With that strategy, he went down easily. On day 46 during the final match of the day, Spanx was clearly not having an easy go of it against a man named Marco the Phoenix. Marco was far too fast for Spanx to even get many solid shots on him, and it seemed like the smallest bits of damage he was doing were being healed away. Unable to do much, Spanx ended up collapsing to the might of this strong enemy. Arlong Jr. was up the next day, and he had to fight none other than his own father, Arlong. Anyone could tell that this was killing him inside. He hadn't seen his father in so long, and now that they were finally together, Arlong was simply calling him weak and a disappointment. He hated that Arlong Jr. had chosen a crew full of humans over one made solely of fishmen. And all of those words were stinging the poor boy right to his core. Because of all of the melodrama, the fight ended up taking all day, but Arlong Jr. was the winner. Day 48, Soga King was up against Van Augur. This wasn't even a challenge for him though, because he was the Sniper King, so all other snipers pale in comparison. Following Sogeking's match was Punky, who had to fight against a man named Sanji. Sanji was weird in that he wasn't fighting back. Every now and then, he'd just blow her a kiss in the shape of a heart. This allowed Punky to just keep shooting attacks at him until he went down as well. Finally, Sanruto had to fight against someone named Beppo. Using his clones, he wailed on the bear man over and over, never giving him a chance to even find his footing. Ultimately, Beppo was completely overwhelmed, and Sanruto took the W. We all went back to our room that night to celebrate the 3 wins of the day, and Spanx was extremely upset that he was the only one who lost his fight. Another person who was down in his mood was Sanruto, who insisted that he was a lot weaker than he used to be. He had memories of being able to clone himself hundreds of times over, but now he could only duplicate himself 2 times. Like usual, we didn't really know what to do with that information. We then heard a knock on the door and a man named Portgas D. Ace stood before me. He claimed that of everyone in the tournament, our group impressed him the most, and he just came by to say that he definitely won't lose tomorrow. We sent the sentiment right back to him, in that we were also not planning on losing tomorrow. The next day came and a group fight commenced. Waddle, Sanruto, and I had to go against Ace and Marco. You could tell that they were confident because they didn't even have a 3rd person on their team. First, we tried to target Ace, but we found that we had the same problem against him as we had with Smoker. We couldn't hit him for some reason. It was like he was turning into fire and we were hitting that instead. So we shifted over to Marco, but just like his fight with Spanx, our damage on him was getting healed up quicker than we could dish out. These two were clearly in a league of their own. Before long, a sinking feeling that we wouldn't be able to come out on top of this came over me. And just like that, Ace knocked me out. Even though we didn't win, Waddle and I were called onto the stage the following morning for some reason. We stood with Ace and Marco as the head of the tournament began to congratulate the 2 winners. He then said this is cool and all, but he's actually the noise. We didn't even know what the heck he was talking about, but he said that he was the one pulling the strings all this time on my 100 Day series. Waddle and I still weren't catching on, so he continued. He said that he had pulled this Chunin exams area right out of the Naruto world, and this only confused us even more. What did he mean by Naruto world? Naruto was our crew member. Did he mean the world that I saw in that vision back on Little Garden? He explained that he had also plucked our crew member from that world too, and that he was just having fun by tinkering around and moving stuff from one anime world to another just to mess with us and the audience. I demanded he give us more details as to what he was talking about, and he told me to look behind me. Ace was gone. He assured us that we shouldn't worry though, as this just means that Ace will appear in a future 100 Day series that I do for a different anime. Unfortunately by then though, my memories will have been erased like they always are whenever he moves me and Waddle to the next anime world to start over. We tried to attack the noise in retaliation, but nothing was hurting him. We were powerless. And then, the noise poofed away. Marco hit us with a fat bruh. We requested Marco to train us so that we could learn how to fight stronger enemies, and he agreed to help if it meant he could get Ace back. On day 51, Marco took us to an area where he could train us, and Spanx tagged along because of how ashamed he felt after losing against him. We put on weighted clothing for this rigorous session, and Marco explained that he'd be teaching us how to utilize something called hockey. This led to a whole time skip. The 3 of us fought Marco nonstop for a long period of time, and while we didn't have 2 years, we did have 2 weeks worth of practice under our belts by the end of it all. On day 66, Marco talked to Spanx about how he feels that he's been holding himself back. He questioned if his gun was really his preferred method of fighting. Spanx revealed that after he tried to escape his haunting past full of nothing but bright red booties full of bloodied bruises and bandaged bumps, he picked up a cursed gun to nerf himself. Spanx dropped the gun and picked up his 100-ton hammer, an upgraded version of the weapon that gave him his name. Spanx the Spanker was back. Marco and I both noted that this was a completely changed man now. As one final test, Marco sent us to take down the strongest creatures on this island to prove that we had mastered our training. By nightfall, we had defeated them all easily. The monster trio of this crew was now created by day 68. We were on a completely different level than back when we were at this tournament. To celebrate, we headed over to a tavern and Sanruto came up to us and said that he wanted to be called Sanji now. We mentioned how Sanji was the name of the dude Punky fought, and he said, yeah, but that's his name too. And that he's a ninja from Wano, and that all those things that he was spouting before must have all been weird dreams. Now that we kind of knew the truth of what was happening, we could tell that Naruto was only getting much worse as time went on. The barkeeper girl said that she was really interested in what we were talking about and exclaimed her hatred for the life that she was currently living. So she ended up joining our crew because we kind of need another girl. We kind of have a bit of a sausage fest besides Punky, so yeah, we needed another girl to kind of round that out. Her name was Candy. And with that, our first 68 days are now over. Make sure to keep your eyes peeled for the final part to end off this epic saga. Once that's up, I'll go ahead and put all 3 parts together as one full video as well, for easy access to the full storyline. Make sure to comment down below what your favorite part was and any suggestions that you might have for the series. I plan on doing a lot more 100 days in Minecraft content, so if you want to be notified when those go up, I recommend subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. I want to try other anime series in this style as well, like My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, Black Clover, and so on. With that though, I just want to thank each and every one of you for all of the support on these videos. Oh, and shout out to Waddlevania for accompanying me on this journey. The link to his channel will be in the description down below. Thank you all so much again for watching. See you later. Bye.